Hey guys, Rory here from Your Golf Travel. Question for you. Did you or did you not watch the Solheim Cup at the weekend? Regrettably, I didn't get a chance to, but I do have a friend of the show, a friend of YGT, former LET Tour Pro, SOPHIE Walker, who is doing commentary for Sky Sports. So we're going to call her now, get her thoughts, her reaction on Europe's pretty awesome win out in the States, the future of this current Solheim Cup team, some of the controversial things that might have happened at the event, and looking forward to 2023 as well. The Solheim Cup heading to the Costa del Sol. So let's jump on the phone with Soph. Right, hi Soph, how's it going? I understand, well, your glamorous background, I understand, is a commentary box in Switzerland. Is that right?
Yes, I'm in Switzerland. We're actually on a farm about 5 meters from me. There's cows, so it's not smelling the greatest and it's quite warm.
Okay, so if anyone watching this video hears any funny noises, that's what it is.
Yeah. So
you arrived in Switzerland last night and you obviously had a busy week. Solheim Cup. Give me your reaction. Obviously, you were doing some Sky Sports coverage in the studio. Yeah, reaction to back-to-back wins and second win ever in US soil for Team Europe.
Well, we've won 4 of the last 6 now, and people are starting to say we're not the underdogs, but I'm like, shh, we need to keep that tag. Do you know what? It's one of the first times I looked at our team of 12 against theirs and said, do you know what? We're as good as them. I do believe over the years, in terms of the American side, was up here and we were down there, and it's starting to move. And especially when the singles lineup came out, it was like, hang on a minute, I can actually see points here. And we've got, Sophia Popov, who is a major champion, playing against somebody that hasn't won on the LPGA Tour. Stuff like that, which was never ever happened before. So yeah, after seeing how many of the crowd were there, I was a little bit worried about playing on American soil. But as it happened, the Americans kind of got daunted by it. I think there's about 75,000 people there on Monday. And the Americans just didn't react well to it. And the Europeans were just fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose that can go one of two ways, can't it? Either you're going to feed off that energy, or if there's literally... It was so sloped in terms of the amount of Americans there and such a tiny amount of European fans that actually maybe the Americans, like you say, felt like all eyeballs were on them, and they were like, oh, hope we don't let these people down.
Yeah, they looked like they feared losing.
Yeah.
And we looked like we wanted to win. I think that was the best way to describe it. We didn't fear losing. We went out there, and that's what the underdog logo is, isn't it? It's like we've got nothing to lose here. And I just felt like the team thought that. And the fact that there was 12 caddies, 12 players, a handful of captains, vice captains, and a few helpers. There was maybe only about 40 Europeans there. And It was like, right, it's us lot against you lot. It was a great watch.
Obviously, you're far more connected to the Solheim Cup and the ladies' game than I am. But when I look at the team, and I don't watch a huge amount of golf in general, whether it's ladies' golf or men's golf, I just don't watch that much of it anymore. But I did see lots of the highlights, obviously, from the Solheim Cup. What do you think we can expect from the team moving forward? Because when I look at some of the players who've played multiple Solheim Cups now and the age profile of the team and things like that, I see a team that, can carry on going. And like you say, you've won 4 out of the last 6. And, you've got Charlie Hull, Georgia Hall, Leona Maguire on her rookie appearance. And you look at their 25, 25 and 26 and you think, hang on a minute, this team got legs, as they like to say in sports.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. 4 of the last 6, there's players like Charlie, Georgia, that don't really know what it's like to lose to the Americans too much, which is a great place to be. I think Charlie is a fantastic Solheim Cup player. Her record is just phenomenal. She's played 19 games now, and she's won over half of them, which is great. There was a big change from the team at Gleneagles, a huge change.
Because obviously you lost the likes of Suzanne and people like that.
Yeah, you did. I don't know what. There was only a handful that carried over, maybe 4 or 5. So you never quite know what's going to happen in 2 years' time. The likes of Leona Maguire, oh my God, amazing. But we kind of had that with Bronte Law, and then Bronte Law didn't make this one. What I like is just the strength and depth of the ladies' game in Europe at the moment. Before, you was always trying to hide the odd player. Now we seem to have 12 like really good players. And you've got to say, the American team, their best players didn't quite perform. And yet we had Matilda Castron. I mean, you don't watch much women's golf. I'd never heard of her, like at the beginning of the year. Never heard of her. She was brilliant. Leona Maguire, I have heard of, like a fantastic amateur performance. But people like that, you wouldn't go, oh, they're stars of the game in sense of that. They're not world number one. They're around 50th in the world. I just think it's amazing how they step up in a team environment. And let's hope that they can do a little bit in the individual world for the next couple of years and keep playing strong for the Solheim Cup, because we get better at the Solheim Cup. And I've got to say, the Americans don't, you know.
Yeah. So give me some sort of insight into what the structure of the whole team, so not just the players, but the assistant, the vice captains, that kind of thing. And does it mirror the way that the Team Europe Ryder Cup team has gone about things in the last 10 years or so, when they have kind of flipped it on the Americans as well and become a more dominant team? Obviously, players that appeared in lots of Ryder Cups then start being vice captains, then start learning how to be captains, and it has that knock-on effect. Are we seeing the same thing at the Solheim Cup?
Yeah, it's an uncanny resemblance in what goes on and off the course. Normally, the Americans are great at singles, poor at foursomes. Exactly the same in the Solheim Cup. In terms of captains, it's very similar as well. Katrina Matthew had played in 9 Solheim Cups, wow. And now she's captained 2 of them. In fact, one of them, she was vice captain, and Suzanne Petterson got injured, so she ended up playing and hold the winning pot, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's the kind of feel to it. You have 1 captain and then 3 vice captains, because a lot of the time for the first 2 days, 4 matches are out. So you want somebody with each match. That's the way that they work it. Be interesting to see who is captain for the event in Spain. Suzanne Petterson, a lot of people are talking about potentially. Laura Davis has always said that she never wants to be captain, but I can see her starting to come around a bit. I don't think Laura will do Spain. I think she'll do an American one, or potentially one in England, because we've never had one in England. But it's very similar to the men's game. Probably not as many to choose from. Yeah. I think that would at the moment, but that'll come with time. Remember that the Solheim Cup was only born in 1990.
Yeah, so obviously so many positives to take away from the event, and in my mind it seems like you just mentioned how young the event is in comparison, and in my mind it's closing the gap in terms of the level of interest from casual golf fans, certainly. And while I say there's lots of positives, the level of skill on display, people like Leona Maguire, all that kind of stuff, and obviously from a Team Europe perspective, the win, a couple of contentious issues like there always is in a team event, happens at the Ryder Cup, happens at the Solheim Cup. There have been high profile cases in the past, but when does a ball overhang the hole, Soph? Can you clear that one up for me?
I'll tell you what, there's some rule, I didn't even know that rule. Yes, so the issue was that Madeline Sagström picked up Nelly Corder's ball within 10 seconds. So if the ball is overhanging, you've got to leave it 10 seconds. I didn't think it was. I thought it had gone past the hole, and I think Madeline can make that decision. The trouble was it was 7 seconds, not 10. If it had been 10, there's not a problem there. What was good from a media side is I thought people are going to start watching now.
Yeah.
And it led Sky Sports News, that led on the hour. That's what they went with. So from me personally, I was like, yes, more people are going to watch it. I think it really affected Nelly Corder. Really did. It didn't come out too much from our side how much it did affect Nelly, but It did. She got quite a lot of criticism, which I think criticism, Nelly, in fairness. I think it was out of her hands. She couldn't have overruled the referee, even though some people think she should have done. She couldn't have done. And I'm thankful that Madeline Sagstrom went out and got her point in the singles. But yeah, I like a little bit of all that. I think it's great for people watching. No, golf doesn't help itself or whatever. But yeah, it got some more eyeballs on it. And I don't know what the official viewing figures were, but I know they were happy with them.
Yeah, I think having watched as much of the feedback, and obviously social media can be a dangerous place to try and get information and stuff like that, but I've watched as many replays as possible, and I think no matter which perspective I read, I can side with that person. So I can totally see where the Americans coming from. I can totally see where the Europeans are coming from, where the referee's coming from and everything. I don't think anyone's right or wrong, but ultimately, if it's written in a rule book and the rule's broken, then that's that, and everyone should just kind of move on. But another one, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, I have my own opinions on it, but I won't be putting them out in this video. I see a lot of feedback on social, specifically from European fans, and to be fair, from some Americans as well, talking about how some of the American players, you know, if they put as much effort into their golf, which I think is a very extreme way of putting it, as they did into geeing up the fans and trying to create an atmosphere that made it hard for the Europeans to play, and they might have come out better. That's, I think, a very stupid way of looking at it, but you know where I'm coming from. Yeah, just the environment the American fans were kind of creating. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously you are a European golfer, you're a competitor as well, so you know what it's like to a certain degree, a lot more than I do, being in that sort of environment. What do you think?
I think the Danielle Kang is that type of person. She's like that every day of the week. It's not forced from Danielle. Yeah. So in that respect, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I think what they were trying to do was trying to get the energy up to pass it round the golf course to try and get the rest of the team up. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, I didn't hear too much heckling. The trouble was there was nobody to go against. It wasn't like someone was shouting USA, USA, and then you could come back with Europe or the LA. Yeah. It's like being at a football match and only having home fans. It doesn't work. Yeah. So yeah, I found it quite awkward when they were trying to make them cheer when they'd halved the hole. So yeah, it bounced back because ultimately, Rory, they cheer when they win a hole or when you hole a putt. And the Americans didn't hole any putts. The Europeans did, and that was why we won. So yeah, it's a weird situation to be in. The Americans do always try and get the crowd more involved, and we, you know, that our players were told by the captain, Katrina, do not do that. Do not get the crowd against you. Be their best friends. And yeah, so it worked for us, and it worked against the Americans.
I mean, your analogy of being at a football match and only having home fans is absolutely spot on. I remember when I was at the 2018 Ryder Cup, we actually bumped into each other that day. But I remember standing there at one point when it was all kind of coming to an end, the writing was on the wall, and we were on 16th, and there was 20,000 European fans on one side of that par 3, 20,000 European fans on the other, and they were just having a volley of Europe, Europe, Europe. I remember thinking, I wouldn't want to be an American in this atmosphere. I'm not sure I'd want to go to a Ryder Cup in America either. So.
And you're right about, I think a lot of people were saying everything seemed a bit forced. But I think that's the perception that us Europeans have about the Americans. Yeah. You know, in general, we're like, oh, they're a bit nice, aren't they? You know, a bit over nice, and everything's a bit forced. And I have no idea if that is the case. It's just our perception of it.
Yeah. It was a difficult question to phrase, because that's exactly what I was going to say when I was thinking about this. Do you think there is a different perception of the event as a whole, both the Solheim and the Ryder Cup, from American fans and European fans? Because there is an argument to be made that us guys over in Europe maybe do value a little bit more. I could be wrong on that.
I know that when the European players come back and they're walking on the range, everyone goes, well done last week. Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah, well done. I don't know if that happens on the LPGA. I get the impression that it doesn't. I get the impression that over here, they're part of us. I've been a member of the Ladies European Tour for years. I'm proud of them. They represent us. And I think it's like that on the men's tour as well. So in that respect, we all dream about being on the Solheim Cup team. We see each other. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be great to do that? I don't know if it happens. I have no idea, really, if it does happen on the American side. I just get the impression that it doesn't. And as I say, like when Emily Pedersen holds that putt, we all know what she's been through. So we are like, please, please hold this putt. So we feel it more as a tour.
So back to, like I said, I just wanted to cover a couple of the controversies because obviously they're big talking points, like you say. But back to the good stuff. Did you have a personal highlight from the tournament?
Let me think.
I mean, obviously, apart from the winning putt going in, you're not allowed to choose that.
No, not like that. My highlight in general was how much these players love Katrina Matthew.
Yeah,
I just think it's amazing to have a captain that they all just love. And Katrina's a lot older than them. She's a totally different personality from a lot of them, and yet every single one of them speaks so highly of her. So there is that. And I think a huge moment was the Mel Reid shot to the 18th on the second day. That was massive. I think it was only half a point, but even Katrina Matthew kept saying that point that Mel and Leona won, and it was like, no, it was a half point. But it felt huge that the players were right next to that hole, and she pulls it a little bit and it kicks in.
Off the edge of the bunker.
And that's potentially a turning point, because you need to be up going into the singles against the Americans. That's what we always say. And to be 2 points up was like, yes, we've got that little bit of a cushion, and I think that freed up a lot of players going into the singles.
Nice. So looking forward to 2023, we've obviously talked about this in the past. We've done some videos about Costa del Sol and places like that, and that's where it's heading. It's heading to Finca Courtesin, where I believe, if memory serves, you've played before. Am I right?
No, I've not played.
Clearly, I'm getting on and I'm losing my memory. But what would you say to golfers? Obviously, it's going to be heavily attended by Europeans, and what would you say to golfers from Europe and also from the USA if they do fancy heading to the Costa del Sol for 2023?
Come and join us. It's going to be amazing. So the Ryder Cup is awesome to go to, absolutely brilliant. But there's loads of people there. So I'm 5'4". I struggle sometimes to see it all. So I found myself in Paris just kind of sitting by the first green and just watching them all come through, and then going and sitting on the 18th green and watching them all come through.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did 2 locations, first tee and 16th green, and that was it.
Yeah. But with the Solheim, you can follow groups a little bit more. I get the impression the Solheim Cup is like the Ryder Cup maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So everything's just a little bit more
accessible,
natural. Do you know what I mean? That type of thing. The players were signing autographs after they've finished the round. It's like, oh, yeah, sign an autograph, or I'll take a selfie, that type of thing. So the weather's going to be incredible. Spain is, you can take your clubs, can't you? You can go and watch the Solheim Cup for it.
Yeah, you obviously won't get on Finca Courtesin, but they're in the Costa del Sol alone, which you can throw a blanket over about 70 plus golf courses. So yeah, I mean, as a golf fan and a casual golfer, whenever I go and watch a tournament, I'm standing there swinging my umbrella around and doing little air swings. I can't wait to get out on a golf course as soon as I've done that. So yeah, if I was heading to the Solheim Cup, as an example, in 2023, I'd definitely be looking forward to booking some golf of my own as well.
So that's what I would say. I'd say, book a golf trip and do a little bit of both, because it's tiring 3 days. I did it at the Ryder Cup in Paris, and you are really tired. So maybe, go and watch the odd day. But you never know. You might go and watch the Friday and think, this is amazing. I'm coming back here and doing it all again.
All right. So just to sign off then, 3 golf courses in the Costa del Sol that people should be looking out for if they do indeed choose to head there in 2023.
La Reserva is that Soto Grande? Can you count that?
It's literally just down the road from Finca Courtesin. Unbelievable
track. We were there a couple of weeks ago. Really good. If you've got loads of money, Valderrama.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming.
Yeah, that's quite. And then there's just a couple, like Aloha for me is one of my favourites. But honestly, they'll all be in great nick in September time, and they'll all be very welcoming of us because they're properly involved with this Solheim Cup. There was even a little stand in America, in Toledo, like announcing that everyone's coming to Spain, and it's got a rich Ryder Cup history, Spain, with the players, and it's got exactly the same with the Solheim Cup as well.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks very much for your time, Soph. I'll let you get back to your farming and your commentary. Say hello to the cows for me in the next room.
Yeah, will do.
And I'm sure I'll catch up with
Rory.
you soon. Enjoy Switzerland.
There you have it, guys. Really interesting to get the thoughts of someone like Sophie, so obviously closely attached to the ladies' game, both as a former touring pro herself and now working for Sky Sports on the commentary team. She's out in Switzerland this week for the LET Tour. So yeah, let us know down below, what did you think of the 2021 Solheim Cup? And are you tempted to head to the Costa del Sol and Finca Courtesin for the 2023 version? Drop some comments down there and join the discussion. And of course, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've got any questions about the 2023 Solheim Cup, pop them in the comment section as well. And we'll see you guys soon on another video.